Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here with 60 and Me. Thank you so much for being here today. Hope that you're doing good wherever you are. I know these are strange times, but I'm just so grateful that we're here for each other, and we've got a topic today that I think will be relevant to many of you. I'm really happy to have you here, and as you know, we talk about all kinds of things on 60 and Me, so please do me a huge favor, and if you haven't subscribed already to our channel here, please hit that subscribe button and also press the notification bell. This means that we can reach more women, it supports our channel, and just, get out there into the world and reach more women over 60. These are, in fact, very challenging times. But we know this, I don't need to tell you. But the question today is, do you live alone? This is a trend. We've written about it, we've talked about it, but I wanted to approach it from a little bit different angle and get deeper with it, because I think that a lot of women in our community are living by themselves, some by choice. They just want to be by themselves. Others are divorced, living alone now with maybe adult children moving away. And also some have lost a partner and are finding themselves alone for the first time. And of course, there's always a conversation now about loneliness and isolation and the difference between being isolated and depressed and really sad about being alone, and the other spectrum edge, which is, I love it. No problem for me at all. And that sort of being alone is my thing. I'm an introvert. I love that lifestyle. So one of our bloggers, Marlene Baumgartner, wrote this article on this trend of older women living alone. And she talks about a book. I want to make sure I get the title. It's Lynn Shahan, Living Alone and Liking It. And her book was a bestseller. I'm not familiar with this book. Maybe some of you have read it, but it's a survival guide. And a lot of people looked at this book as maybe it was like a book for women who were like having to live alone and just struggle through that. And it's like the best of a bad situation kind of thing. But what Lynn talks about is that no, it's actually something that you can live with and be happy. That living alone is an okay thing. In many ways, it's the time of life now, maybe after 60 and 70, where we've got things to think about. And the distractions of having someone living with us, maybe it's better. It's better by ourselves. So Shahan talks about lots of things in the book, of course, about the normal things that people advise you when you live alone, which is make new friends, take classes, join groups, get engaged, be social. And, maybe that's what you want to do and maybe not. I've just joined a new group called the International Women's Group of Zug, which is all women living in Switzerland in Zug who are, not so much living alone, but are just, on their independent, wanting to do stuff. And it's a group that I'll meet, I'm sure, other women who are living by themselves, like me. And I, by the way, love it. Although I do miss the conversation sometimes. I do miss the just someone having around, caring about what I'm doing and just making me feel important. Is that okay? Or wanted or desired or loved. It's sometimes I get those tinges, but most of the time I'm super happy. So did you know that this trend though of people living alone is just like, it's grown exponentially over the last few years. I'm going to make sure I get this right. The number of people living alone is 15 million single person households, reporting during the 1977 census. That's 15 million. Double that number in 1960. And now in 2016, there are 36 million single person households just in the United States. 36 million. So more, especially women, because that is our community, want to live alone and they want to age in place. We've got a really good author, Anthony Cirillo, who writes a lot about aging in place, things you can do in your home if you live alone, to be safe. I just read an article on 60andMe that one of our bloggers wrote about medical wristbands, wristbands that say what who your contact people are, and also your any illnesses or chronic situations you might want someone to know about. So 60andMe is like publishing a lot of articles on empowerment, things to empower women who want to live alone. Big deal. So 30% of that 36 million live alone, totally by themselves. So do you live alone? How is it for you? I'm just hearing the replies. I love it, love it, love it. And maybe that's what everybody feels, but I bet there are some that feel differently. But anyway, how do you feel about living by yourself? you need to know yourself. If you're going to live alone, you need to be comfortable with who you are. And what that means is you have to know the signals when you're feeling a bit low, because everybody has these moments, even when you're alone and loving it. It's just that you feel like, I'm just not quite comfortable with this situation. I wish I was with someone. A lot of women are doing co-living. And this is something that we talk a little bit about in another website I have called Learn to Simplify, which is about either co-housing, where you group together with another group of women, maybe even 3 or 4 more, 10 or 12, and you buy a property, buy land, and you either build your houses or you renovate an old house. That co-housing situation is very popular now around the world. It does involve a financial investment. You have to literally, someone has to contribute to buying the house and property. And there are some other models coming out now which are very interesting, where there's a shared ownership. So if you're interested in living with other women, like not a Golden Girls thing, but in a house with maybe, or in a property with maybe several different buildings, where you can have private space and shared space, that's really important to consider. And then of course there is co-living, where you actually go into a house of single units. Your place may only have a bed, maybe a small kitchen, may not even be en suite, but those are the places where you share a living room, share a kitchen, and it's you're co-living rather than housing. One second. It's really dry air around here. The sun has been shining so much. I'm loving it. I'm loving this summer. I should always have water by my side. But anyway, so have an understanding of how you respond to those different circumstances. If you love your own company, but you want people around you, maybe co-housing or co-living would work. It's something to think about, because you may be alone in a big house, and that's actually not always the best situation from just a maintenance perspective. You may just not want to have to take care of a big garden or the complexity of maintenance. But so anyway, if you know yourself, though, that's the key thing. I think the other thing that Marlene talks about, which is lovely, is that just sometimes we have to dance alone. I love that phrase. Sometimes you have to dance alone. It's not possible. I mean, right now with this the COVID situation, we can't get out as much, so we can't join groups, that are not virtual. So maybe that situation that you felt was working perfectly, living alone, is now suddenly a little bit difficult for you. But sometimes we have to dance alone. And she talks in the article, I didn't actually write too much of the detail, about a woman in her 50s who decided to divorce her husband and travel. And she traveled by freight from Brooklyn to like 19, 20 ports all around South America. And then she wrote, that this was an amazing opportunity that taught her patience, flexibility, compassion for herself, that travel experience, letting go, being on her own on a freighter for several months, taught her life lessons that she brought back. And I don't think she's on a freighter anymore, but she brought those lessons she learned. So that's one thing to be considered about living by yourself, is that, maybe there'll be a time when you want to live with others, or you want to get back into a relationship. But what you're learning now, the things that you have, incorporated into your life, patience, flexibility, creativity, innovation, you learn to be very creative when you're by yourself. And maybe that's good skills for the future, and certainly to help other people. Maybe you want to mentor or help some younger women. It's a super gift that we have. We've got the time to do it. So she says, seek enjoyment and adventure, and don't push yourself. You don't have to climb Mount Kilimanjaro or take a freighter from Brooklyn to Santiago. You just have to do something that pushes you a little bit. Join a hiking club. Learn to play the cello. Learn how to paint. Write a book. Draw a picture. Cook something. Create something. Volunteer. There's so many things. If you're on your own and you need that little extra something, there's plenty of options. So do it. Just do it. So it can be daunting. It can be scary. But have a go. Just try. And whatever life throws at you, you're going to make it. You're going to get through it. So take very, very good care, everybody. I hope you are doing well. Please subscribe to our channel. I would so much appreciate that. And press the notification bell. I hardly ever mention that, but I would love to remind you. Thank you. Thank you for all your support. Take very good care. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.